I will not regret the passing days, speak ill or curse your name in vile obscenities, but treasure your warm questioning vigour that keeps me on guard. Amazing how the pen recites the words of the soul, amazing how the mind spins and electrifies when a quest is destined to unfold. The brain at full power, wondrous and venturesome like a man in the depths of unseen adventure. Does the heart wait patiently for those moments when all is at stake, or does it yearn for the spree of abandon and reckless uncontrolled madness? How weak we are in the face of joy. How strong we are when handed lost like dead flowers from a graveyard. I've let the pen spare my soul. Eyes closed as I write this, and I think of other men and women who write at this obscene hour. The poet in his mainstay is but a scribe of dawning impendium, separating those who see the sunset but never the dawn. The city of night but not the sun in the daytime. Those friendless and left in small dark areas of the room which could be the world, when those become entrapped by their own fears, tendencies, stupidities and affirmations of love that are too hard to recognise and even harder to see. I shall not be oblivious to kindness but celebrate it and stomp out the grave. Matters of silence in those moments when all is lost and left alone in the rain, separated by a helping hand. Let's celebrate ourselves for all of our eccentricities. Let's laugh in the face of death. Let's breathe in the stifling air that is strangled by our own creations. Let's drink and be merry, for one day the drink will strip us of our armour, our senses, our nature, our dreams. Whoosh! And down we go through the sharp blades of grass. All we were lucky enough to be is left in a box for eternity. I will not wait for death any longer, nor will I avoid it and change the habits of which have become the man I am. I will laugh when that time comes and then cry, for there will be no more laughter to be had. All of my eccentricities are for you. All my hatreds and anger diatribes are for the wind to collect and place in the corner like notebooks of poetry. The poet never succumbed to anonymity. Anonymity simply collapsed itself into the fiery romantic heart and left us with the relation to others, or whichever the emotions of others is pontificated or exuded in exaggeration. Words as if they spit blood, raging bile, and the minds that bully and break and kill and squander for gain that is soon thrift and spent down the road of existence. The pen at full speed, so many things to be acknowledged and bled into the paper, but the mind runs on sharp spurts, so that one forgets his stance in the affirmation of the body, the soul, the cock, the cunt and the heart, what aches whenever a corner is turned. What will the pen wrench from me now? What odes of leisure can it dictate from me now? What worries and strifes can it reveal for the world to read? Truly this beat and broken city will find a place for the poet to thrive, but not in the coffee shops of old, not in the clubs of hard-working men and women, but in the stratosphere, held in the hands of the world like a baby mother's arms, or hand-in-hand lovers searching down the promenade for late-night conversations, away from the air that has been attacked by the sea for a drink, a kiss and a joyful realisation that things can be good for however they are allowed to remain, and that love in all its childish nature and wondrous appeal can be kept as long as stars burn brightly and hearts beat for the one true love that remains in the opposite's eye. Observing through a gap in the world where everything can be cherished and despised in one quick movement of the pen that jots and stammers, creates new worlds, new alterations and contemplates the earth forever moving, whether flat or round but all the while turning. Rain beating across the path like ragged footsteps, stalking the sand and overflowing the seas that calls my name and purifies my wandering mind, blasting through oxygen to reveal different tastes in the throat, the perceptions of the mind grapple and fight like brawlers in the street, spirits in the night conjugate on cold beds with dead-eyed enthusiasm while music is performed in cathedrals of the mind. This unseen grandeur permeates a wonderful lamentation in the soul. Does one art implied have to be evoked from pain? Does the writer simply suffer when money flows and stomach is filled with wretched ease? If so, then I would rather starve for the rest of my life than let my art suffer with leisure. I'd have my words burnt in acidic fires if the torment of my mind exited through doors of the brain, and though my heart will be torn and festered upon my body worthless and limp, my art would outlive me, and I would welcome the thought with open arms, just so I would know that I have done something bigger than myself. Do you remember when we fought in hallways, bloody knuckles and sour grimaces, and then drank in bars, laughing at the absurdity of God and man and every secure worry that stills the fear of life? This is a tome, but of what? The illumination of a truth that is not yet realised? Perhaps. The pen itself rigours and speculates as my hand aches, but my heart surges with questions, unanswerable questions that leave me in the dark and force me to drink heavily. These truisms have been issued before, again and again, by poets who realised the hatred in the world before my shit was reckoned upon. This will most likely never be read, but the pen keeps moving and I move with it, eyes awake and mind open to the possibility that these might not be words but the channeling of a different mind, a different soul tortured by ignorance. Although my soul is bound for torment in any instance, even the night sky is bright and moments bring new meanings. I feel the downward spiral illuminating and opening at my feet. Is misery ingested at an early age, or is it in the water when it's doused in at birth? What will you have to remember me by? My words, they are nothing but glib anecdotes in the predominant state of love, truisms that entice the mind that are catalogued and shoved to the back of the brain like all the cherished moments where the circumstances are rearranged. Faint ideas added, and then the memory becomes a lie itself, and one is stuck with the quandary of whether such things even took place. Perhaps this piece is an imitation of myself. Perhaps all my deep inner sanctums have been filed in the ink of this pen, which won't let me rest as a phrase comes along, and I am ensconced in love, prepared to carry on through the night until that disgusted murderous notion slips inside my blood and I throw the pen across the room and give up. Do you recall all those nights in the corner, lending tobacco to strangers, systematically challenging, ripping apart and putting together music that pits fire in the heart's stomach? Those nights in the old flat carpet muddied with cigarette burns and dirty clothes, shouting at people in the street, filled with headaches and hangovers, stomachs empty but the quest to succeed, boiling to the point of manic insanity, while all those bitter mornings made us want to pack up and go home. Stale, bitter, shitty scraps of money whipped together in a haste of a burger, a packet of cigarettes, a beer, and a chance that food will be on the table and that the roof would collapse and kill us off in our own destitute hatred. Oh, how I miss those days when arguments ensued and we left one another with bruises from escalated disagreements and a reprieve, a moment of solace and then friends again, as if stereotypes of men and women are the accurate descriptions of men and women. What is worth trying for now but survival? We merely exist, but joy seems to cost through exerted amounts of proliferation. Childhood is a million miles away, and pretty dreams are torn when those with talent and genius are ignored brutally by a world that will not listen. The pen has now lifted the stone of my contempt, and I reiterate a theme that was transposed and dictated well before my time or the time of my heroes. All I am is another raging alcoholic in the shadows, preaching to the wall, dropping cigarette ash on the shoe in the need of something harder, stronger, faster drink to send me into the dives, and repeat my follies to scared, delusional punters and clap their legs together, get more rowdy and even more stupefied by the harshness of death. Sensation in the first night emerging from the wide-eyed sun, romance and music in the dead of evil while raging a dream as I sleep in winter. My bohemia is seated in the tortured heart, lost in the desert, the cry of war and the charity of lovebirds who squat in Parisian orgies, poets on the drunken boat, the poor people left in church with evening prayers and sweeping stars. I will be left in ruins. A progress of stupidity in the siege of exiles down by summer and lights and remembrances of eternity. Bad blood and delirium in the towers of song, tears in the bellowing morning, all this infernal alchemy. Contribute a dirge and the whole world looks up, but a verse can drive a person mad. All those rightly placed exertions, the manner in which one can conquer hell with a line that is superb as a morning cigarette. I have never even verged on something so striking. All of my words are muddled by theories, speculations ripped from the notebooks of old, rinsed from the gutters and discarded out of disgust, lost in the sleepy dive of rest and left for no one. All I can offer you, my dear reader, the fool holding this page in his hands or reading it along a screen, you with the raised eyebrows, that I will get that verse to stop you from leaving, to influence the tides, and to contribute to the world that keeps me in fear and keeps me searching for that phrase, that moment when trouble is at the door and everything is at stake of becoming simply yesterday's illuminations.